So even if people cannot join us today, they can always join us anytime. Okay. The event on YouTube has not begun. Yeah. So I cannot see how many people are with us. We have 10 waiting yet, on YouTube. Okay, we are live on YouTube, inshallah. Right, we can begin, yeah? Bye.
Okay, inshallah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Let's begin our session today with the recitation of Surah Al-Fatiha. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to the 13th webinar series conducted under Southpad Research Unit. I am Uncle Haliza Uncle Ibrahim, the coordinator of Southpad Research Unit, as well as your moderator for the day. Our presenter for today is Dr. Siti Zubaida Anwar of English Language Division, Southpad. Dr. Siti Zubaida Anwar graduated from the University of Memphis, Tennessee, with a degree in literature and a minor in sociology, and continued her postgraduate degrees, both master's and PhD, at the Faculty of Education in the International Islamic University, Malaysia. Her PhD thesis was entitled Exploring Culturally Responsive Teaching, CRT, in the Third Space, a study in the English language classrooms of 2 higher learning institutions in Malaysia. She has been teaching English since 1999. She joined the Center for Languages and Pre-University Academic Development of IIUM in 2016 and has been teaching pre-sessional English courses in the skills of reading, writing, listening and speaking to students of diverse cultural backgrounds at all levels of proficiency. Apart from that, Dr. Siti Zubaida also teaches Kuliah required courses, namely English for occupational purposes, for the Kuliah of Engineering, and Kuliah of Information and Communication Technology, and English for academic writing. For the past year and a half, she has been teaching a new university core course, UNGS 1201, Sustainable Development Issues, Principles and Practices. Since then, she has been working on projects to explore culture in sustainable development. She has published 3 articles and contributed to chapters over the years. She is currently a virtual exchange fellow in collaborative online learning for Spring 2022, hosted by the Barzanji Project, Shenandoah University, USA. Besides teaching, she also holds an academic administrative post as the Special Officer to the Deputy Rector Academic and Internationalization, IIUM. She enjoys practicing yoga, cycling, and swimming. She loves traveling with her friends and camping with her family. She is also interested in painting with acrylics and watercolors. Dr. Siti Zubaida has chosen to talk about culture and sustainability for our webinar today. Thus, without further ado, it gives me great pleasure to welcome Dr. Siti Zubaida Anwar. The screen is yours, Dr. Siti Zubaida. Tafaddal.
Terima kasih. Thank you, Dr. Engku. Thank you so much. I would like to thank Dr. Engku and Southpad Research Unit for inviting me to be a speaker today to share whatever knowledge that I think that I want to share today. And then this is an opportunity for me to actually talk about culture and sustainability. I would like to share my screen now. Hold on, sorry about this. There you go. I could see friends are coming in the Zoom. I'm not so sure about YouTube. That I hope I'm being clear right now, like you can hear my voice clearly and there's no interruption.
Okay, inshallah.
Yeah, there's no interruption with the internet soon. I mean, hopefully. I actually would like to share with you this Menti QR code in which you can scan using your phone and just scan using your camera phone, and then you can leave your messages in the, you can leave the responses on the Menti. I hope you can do that. And I will share this again later during my presentation, the responses from you. But it is good if you can do this now. But I will be sharing this again later. If I can get responses, that would be great to know what your view is about culture. All right. Okay. So next, I'm nervous now, so bear with me if I look very nervous. All right. Some history of how I came to study culture and teaching of language. I was teaching level 5 in 2014, and I was given a class, listening speaking class. It's a pre-sessional class, which I was surprised to get 30 students from 15 countries. The first day of class, I was introduced to this diverse classroom in which I got students from Oman, so I have to write it down because there's so many. Oman, Iran, Chad, Comoros, Benin, Thailand, Singapore, Iraq, Cambodia, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Afghanistan. So imagine a class full of students from different nationalities, and how much cultural information that I could actually get there from that class, from the students. So I came up with a project for the students to do, because this is a listening and speaking class. I asked them to prepare a presentation why I should go to your country, right? Because I think it will be interesting, because my passion is traveling. So I was just inserting what my interest is into the classroom activities, which is, if you want me to go to your country, tell me why I should go there and present it to the class. So during that time, they were talking about sports. They were talking about interesting places in the country. And one student from Afghanistan actually talked about this buzkashi. Have you heard of it before? The game is a sports named buzkashi. Even to say it's quite difficult. So have you heard of that before? If you have heard of it, you can leave your comment in the chat box whether you have heard of the sports named buzkashi. You want to see some people responding on the chat box here. You have Buhari, never heard of it. Anyone else? Dr. Nku, never heard of it. Anyone else who have heard of it or never heard of it? So you can leave your comments. So it was the first time, that day in class, that was the first time I heard of it. And the student actually shared the video from YouTube of how the game is played. It is a violent sport, I must say, because there were two teams that were fighting to grab a goat. Yeah, they are fighting on a horseback and to grab the goat. Usually they use a goat carcass. But then it was such an interesting information that everyone was shocked to see. Those are not from Afghanistan, have never seen it before. So we learned something new that day. And then we also learned from the Iranian students that they said that their zafran or their saffron is the best in the world. And I would have other students from other countries, Afghanistan, disagree with that, saying that no, their zafran is actually the best in the world. If I had a Kashmiri students, that student would be saying that no, we have the best in the world. So that shows that they kind of share information of culture, information about the countries that they are proud of with the rest of the class, and that get us to have an engaged discourse. And then I could see that the students are more motivated to learn since then, because previously in the beginning of the class, they were quite shy, they were quite reluctant to talk. But once they talk about something that they love so much, like their countries, they become more motivated, and the engagement, the interaction become more engaged. And then there's so much respect that we can get from the students. And I just have to tell you, it's a lot of fun, and the whole experience was really meaningful. And then how did I come across CRT? I was stuck for my to study, to write my thesis, and I was like, I don't know what to do. And then I met Dr. Faiza, from co-ed, and then she was telling me, okay, why don't you read about CRT? And I was like, what is that? After reading a few articles, then I realized that, wow, that's a name. There is a name to what I have been practicing. It's culturally responsive teaching approach, which since then I started my research journey late 2015, in which I started doing the literature review and finding subjects to study and coming up with, of course, the research questions, and the focus group discussions were conducted. I got rich data, and then I got a classroom observation done, and I got amazingly richer data from both teachers and students. And then there I used the theory of third space by Homer Bhabha, 1994. So that's how I would say that the PhD journey started with what I experienced from my students. So that's why I am very thankful to my students for whatever that I have accomplished for now, since then. Okay, so I mentioned third space just now, right? Okay, if there is a third space, there must be a first and a second space, right? So we look at the first space as a home, the funds of knowledge that students have from home. Home here would be the family and the community that includes values, attitudes, ethnic identity, and social interactions between the people. This is before they go to class, before they go to school, right? So then we have the second space, which is the classroom, where discourse unfold and materials mostly are from textbooks, the only source of knowledge. So why don't we create a bridge in which we can combine both knowledge, which can be done in the hybrid space or the third space from Gutierrez et al. 1999. So this is when we combine and use knowledge from first and second space and make the learning more meaningful for the students. It is proven from studies done by many researchers that students are more receptive towards what they are learning when the teachers are using the knowledge that they have accumulated from their first space. All right, so in other words, when students come to our class, we are not going to ask them to strip away all the knowledge that they already have, but we're going to make use of that, utilizing that knowledge so we can make the learning more interactive, more like what I did with my level 5 students, right? More interactive and more meaningful for them. And for us also, because when students are motivated, students are excited to learn, we become motivated to teach. I think everyone agrees with me on this one, right? Because we are all teachers here. And I'm sure that we have been doing this in our classrooms, just that we know that now there's a name to it. What we're doing, the approach that we're doing is actually culturally responsive teaching. And I will explain a bit more about what are the attributes of CRT. It's about having high expectation. The expectation is not just from the students to the teachers, because students expect teachers to share something. And then we also expect students to share something. So these informations, these funds of knowledge that we're sharing are really important as we are co-creating new knowledge together. And at the same time, one of another attributes of CRT is that we listen to the students' voices. What happened in that class, I'm still use the example from my level 5 class, is that we listen to their voices, we listen to their ideas, their opinions, their views of the world. So that makes them feel that they are really appreciated and they want to study more. And then we also allow students to bring the home knowledge to be used in the classroom, and which can help to maintain a fluid relationship between the teachers and the students, and also students and the students. And another attribute of CRT that I found during my study was being caring. And I want to explain more about this one because this is part of humanizing education in which we have to care about each other. All right, so I'm excited to talk about this now. Okay, so the mouse is not working. Now I'm going to use this one. Okay, what is the importance of being caring in teaching and learning? One of the findings that I found that students actually notice whether teachers are being sincere or not when they show that they care. Because if they really can trace sincerity when we care about them, because some people are just caring on the surface, but sincerity comes from inside, right? So sincerity and being caring builds trust, and this can encourage students to be more receptive. And then students will also be more honest with us because they trust us, right? And then we have being caring creates a supportive and encouraging environment for the students to learn. This is not just for the in-class activities, but also out of the classroom activities where they have their student learning time. Okay, so we interact with the students not just in the classroom, but now, especially now, since we have been experiencing the pandemic where we teach online, students are connected to us like 24/7, right? Because we have the WhatsApp group, we have Telegram, and from Teams also, they can just leave a message on the team or the Google Classrooms that they want our attention. So that's how being supportive and encouraging is not only restricted in the classroom, but also outside of the classroom. And then being caring also allows engaging interaction because teachers are the carers for the students here in the university, and the students are the cared for, the cared of. So basically caring is about giving them the attention that they need. Of course, we don't have like the whole 24/7 to give attention to the students, right? But they know that we care about them. And then encouraging the feeling of interconnectedness, not just between, as I said, not just between teachers and students, but also students and students. And I have to tell you that the level 5 students from that section I taught in 2014 was like they're still connected to each other through Facebook and Instagram. And yeah, it's the kind of experience that we want students to have, you know, that experiential learning which they can carry on until they finish the studies and when they go back to the countries. All right, so based on my research, I came out with this framework in which instead of before it was this, I came out with this one, where the third space is where we include the teacher's first space and the teacher's second space also. It's not just the student's first space and second space, but also our spaces, the first space and the second space that we brought into the third space. All right, and we have to think about, we have to work on our instructional strategies and also the learning styles of the students and what are the expectations from the students and what are our expectations of the students, which have to be spelled out in the beginning of the semester. So how did I come to culture and sustainability? There's an evolution because I know that it cannot be just an approach that I use in my classroom, but it can be discussed in more, how should I say, broader level or higher level. So based on this one, I found out that there is a connection between culture and sustainability, and I read more about it, and I'm still reading more about it. So I could see that there is a connection, a very close connection between culture and sustainability. I hope that I'm not being too fast because we don't have much time. I have so much to share. If I'm being too fast, you can leave a message in the text and the chat box. I hope everyone is okay. I'm checking on you guys. All right. Culture. And then we have sustainability. What is sustainability to you? There's another, oh, someone is giving. All right, thank you, Dr. Nku. Okay, so there's another Mentimeter that I want you to, what do you call this? QR code it, and you can actually see it. You can give response on what sustainability to you. Give you a few seconds more to scan on this one. As I'm talking about it, you can leave your responses on that one. So the first one just now was the culture, right? But now it's the sustainability because there are two interrelated topics that I'm talking about. Hold on. Okay, so let me move on to the next slide. sustainability, we always relate it to SDG 17 goals, right? We have no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being. This is still the QR code for sustainability for Menti. And then we have gender equality, clean water sanitation, and all of these belongs to the three pillars of sustainability. And the what it means by sustainable development, right? It's about us leaving the earth in a better condition for our future generations. Like your great grandchildren will still see the green trees that we have, like a lot of lush of forest and jungle, right? Like in this country, and then they can still breathe the fresh air. Or yeah, maybe the air is not as fresh as it was 20 years ago, but yeah, we still have fresh air before haze comes and attack us again. And then we also have sustainable development. It says here from the Brundtland report, it says sustainable development is development that meets the needs of the present, yeah, our present, like us now, without us compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. That's what it means. Like you leave the earth in good or better condition for the future generations to use. This was made by Brundtland report in 1987. Sorry. So I was talking about the three dimensions. Just now, it might not be that clear. I thought it's just my eyes. It's not clear. Okay, I'm so sorry about this. But yeah, I can explain to you that the three spheres or the dimensions of sustainability are social, economics, and ecological. So environmental will look at the natural resources that we use, you know, the pollution prevention. If it is from the 17 goals, is the protection of water, land, waste. And then we have economic, talking about profit, market economy, economic growth, employability, research and development. And then for the social part, we talk about the standard of living, education, community, and equal opportunity. If you see here, there's no mentioning anything about culture, right? So that's why what happened. Oh, let's just check the Mentimeter first. I'm just going to stop this one here and see who's on the Zoom. Oh, Brother Ashari is here. Thank you very much for coming. Just going to share with you the result of what we have done just now from the Menti. Okay, I'm a bit flustered now because of the changing of the sharing. Yeah, here it is. What culture is to you? You can see this, right? Culture here means some of you say way of life, enjoy the differences, the behavior of the people, the race, the behavior again, but budaya Melayu, Malay culture, identity, language, values, ways of life, the people. Enjoy the differences, enjoy the diversity, right? Enjoy the diversity is very strong there, which is correct. All of these answers are, all of this response is very valuable to me. I hope that we have more. Maybe you can leave your response in the chat room. Catherine say we leave the earth as we found it. Yes, okay. All right, so if you can leave, if you did not manage to catch the QR code just now, if you want to leave your comments on what is culture to you, you can leave it in the text box still. So it is, if we look at this one, our understanding of culture is correct, right? Because culture can be anything under the sun, basically. Let me just go back to my slide. Here. Okay, so Mandy check. So culture is broader than just art, because there are many definitions of culture. It's broader than just art. Culture cannot be precisely defined, and culture can include virtually anything, everything. So how should I say? I'm going to explain to you what two forms of culture is from Chang 2016, Strausby 1992, 2001. Cultures can be divided into two forms. It can be tangible and intangible. Tangible is something that we can measure, and intangible is something that is quite qualitative compared to tangible, which is quantitative. So tangible form of culture can be in the form of buildings, locations, sites, regions, work of arts, like example of the picture here, the wow, the arts of wow. Like wow is a wow thing, right? Like how many people in this world do you know that can make wow? Do you know particularly someone who can make wow like this? This wow. Wow is this, the pictures here. It's something that I've been wanting to learn more about wow, but I have not got the chance to do it. But I'm going to do it one day. Uh, tangible form of culture is something that you can see, right? You can count how many of these wow, and then you can actually touch them, right? So like paintings that we can find in galleries everywhere, and then sculptures and artifacts and fabrics. So basically, a tangible form of culture involves human activities. All right. Then we have the intangible form of culture that includes the intellectual capital, such as the ideas, practices, and beliefs, and the shared values. I remember I was sharing with you funds of knowledge from home just now in the first space. That is shared values, values shared by the students, by people in at home with their community, which is also part of culture, is a form of culture. And then from Agong Parameswara 2020, he did a research on the connection between culture and sustainability. It says here cultural heritage is not necessarily referring to relics only, but including creative activities such as performing arts, rituals, celebrity events, and then these events like Raya is part of our culture, right? Celebrating the Eid, what we do during the Eid, whether it is a shocking Eid or not, we still prepare food for the family in the morning, right? Some of us make lemang, all of us make rendang, and different types of rendang from each country. That shows diversity in food, which is also part of culture. And then in the picture shown here is a dance, a traditional dance. And then these activities actually allows the process of transmitting and preserving, protecting society's practices, because from these practices we have discipline, we have routine which we follow, and of course almost all culture promotes peace. And these traditional skills and oral traditions are, if we are not keeping them or practicing them, it will disappear just like the earth if we don't take care of it. So that is the message I'm trying to tell here, that culture should be part of the sustainable development. All right. Okay. So the role of culture in SD, I would just use SD to replace sustainable development because it's quite long, sustainable development. So from Dasin et al. 2015, he wrote a article on culture, the roles of culture in SD, and it can be seen from culture in SD, culture for SD, or culture as SD. So I'm going to explain a bit, not too long, about this one. Before that, again, I would like to remind you what are the dimensions: ecology, economy, and society. Those are the dimensions of sustainability. So when we look at this one, the first one, okay, culture is the first one, yeah, down here. I don't know what happened. This is culture in sustainable development. Culture is looked as another pillar of sustainability, because if this represents ecology, economy, and the society, the orange color one is actually the another pillar of sustainability. And then I have a message here. Yes, Catherine, culture today is more varied and complex than in the past. Correct. Yes, correct. Okay, and then we have culture for sustainable development. It functions as mediator. It is placed in the middle to achieve economic, social, and environmental sustainability. It is placed in the middle. All right. If the first one, culture in sustainable development, it is about culture being one of the pillars. But for the second one here, it is culture for sustainable development. It functions as a mediator, middleman, to achieve that sustainability in the three dimensions. And then if culture as sustainable development, it plays a fundamental role in the society. It's synonymous with human action and interaction. It is part of the sustainable development. It's like encompassing all of these. It's not as the bridge. It's not one of it. It is culture as sustainable development. Sorry. All right. So when did this widely talked about? It started in UNESCO 2005 UNESCO Convention, in which it explicitly discussed the link between cultural diversity and SD. And in Article 13 here, it says that parties should endeavor to integrate culture in the development policies. So it goes to the policy level for the creation of conditions conducive to sustainable development within this framework, foster relating the protection and promotion of diversity of cultural expression. So everything, whatever policy in the development that we're making, we should include culture in it. This is what they suggested, recommended. And then this means cultural diversity is a vital requirement to achieve sustainable development. So are we doing that in the country right now? I'm not so sure. But if I just look at Instagram from Istana Negara, where our RPA Raja Permaisuri Agong, she's now in London having an exhibition of the Tenun, Pahang Tenun, in which that is a part of promoting and protecting the cultural expressions that we have in the country. All right. So that is something that we need to do more, not just Tenun, but also other things in the country. And we're not only, since we are in the International Islamic University Malaysia, in which we have students from around 90 something countries in the world now studying here, might as well we take the opportunity to learn about their culture, in which we allow the students to promote their culture. I know that we have that Global Umatic week, but it should not be restricted or limited to just exhibitions during a week. It can be done throughout the curriculum if possible. So this is about how we are actually using the culture, promoting the culture, and protecting the culture. And then culture in education for sustainable development. What are our roles in education to sustain the culture that we have for the generations to come? Do you have unmute somebody's? Okay, all right. So what are our roles? This is the questions that I would like to ask all of us, that what are our roles in education to sustain the culture that we have for the generations to come? And another question is, how can we use the culture by incorporating sustainable development in our teaching and learning, and how we can encourage our students to be agents of cultural diversity and sustainable development. I know that you probably would say that, oh, we have the UNGS class, right, which we can actually teach sustainable development there, which is the manifestation of ESD, right? But of course, we can always do our roles in language teaching. Is not restricted to one class only, the Unicode class, but also for our language teaching. Okay, next one. Dr. Unku, how much more time do I have?
As much time as you need, Dr. Bai.
Really?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so this is an example of an activity that I did with my students in a class, in which I asked them to talk about cultural artifact. And I would like to share you, this is just one of it. which the students share with the class on Padlet. They choose one artifact and they talk about it. And this, from this, like a short essays, like I did not expect them to actually write about it so much, but from here we can see that the cultural artifact is very meaningful to them, and then they would talk about their interests, how it is related to their interests, and how it feels for them to play this instrument, and how they how this person developed, this Adam developed the skills of playing it, and this to him is a cultural artifact. As I said just now, it's virtually everything, right? What culture is. So I'm going to share you more on this one. Hold on. Hold on. Bear with me, guys. Okay. This is an example of the activity that I did. It was, the instruction was quite simple. But they come up with all of these artifacts. They use the mother's prayer rug, then the motorcycle, and student from Somalia shared this, what we call girgire or unsi. Is to it says the perfume homes, to make the homes smell good. This is like bahur, I think. And then this fragile piece from 1836, you know, had I not asked the students to actually share this, would they be sharing this with others? So this is the platform in which the students can actually share something very valuable from their family, you know, the knowledge from the first space, bringing it to the second space. This is actually this Padlet is actually my third space, our third space. So like grinding stone, how many homes still have grinding stones? And even the badminton racket is the students' cultural artifact, because they value it so much. They have had it from primary school. And then something like golo, and this one is not the guys, yeah, but the house behind it. And then the rehal, right? And students here talk about the cultural artifact of wow. All right, wow kuching, because this one she resides in Kuantan, so they still have people making wow there. So they would go to Teluk Cempedak and just watch people. And then batik, so it's not restricted to just cultural artifact, but like this one, chongka, they play chongka at home, or why they play chongka. So these are the things that I like to actually explore with the students. And since language is part of it, because they need to use language, they need to use the language to talk about it, they become more open to actually tell people, to share what they have come up with, you know, what they have in mind, what they have from their family to share. Okay, so that is one example that I have shared with my students, and they shared with us. So there's a lot of sharing of knowledge there happening, and basically they are co-creating new knowledge together. So here we want to reiterate that the position of cultural diversity has become increasingly relevant as a source of invention and innovation. And of course, it is a valuable resources for human development, because without culture, though, I don't know if there's any civilization could happen. And then how we can use culture by incorporating ESD in our teaching and learning. As I said before, by using cultural responsive teaching approach to teach our students, that can be used when use the cultural information that students have, and then incorporating issues of sustainable development in which they can relate to the culture in the content of the lesson. Projects that can highlight, ask them to to come up with projects to highlight the importance of promoting areas of cultures to the students, there are a lot of small towns that need preservation, and probably students can do some research on that, how these old towns that has been left behind because because people have left the town. Like I think the one in Sungai Lembing in Kuantan, if I'm not mistaken, if you guys have heard about this, it's quite a very peaceful town. It's small, but there are still people living there. It could be used as a cultural heritage site for people to visit if it is developed, just like what UNESCO do for, I mean, for Malacca and Penang, right? It's a protected by UNESCO, that one, those two cities. So probably by doing this, proposing projects that can help to preserve the culture of a certain place, a site, that would be a great project for the students. It could be also their community engagement projects. And then problem-based learning and culturally specific teaching and learning are some of the approaches that we can apply, as I said before, in any of the courses that we have. I know that sometimes we are so restricted to follow the curriculum, the course outline that we have, but it can still be, I'm not imagining everyone will have to revamp the curriculum just to give way for culture to come in, right? It's just that some parts of it can be inserted, can be incorporated, can be, we can still keep the, sorry everyone, sorry, it can be incorporated in one of the activities that you have. It doesn't have, I'm not talking about changing the curriculums, about using these elements in our activities that we want the students to carry out. And then another way of we can incorporate sustainable development in our teaching and learning and culture is by collaborating with teaching partners from other regions. And it can help diversify the experience and help us, not just students, but also the teachers, to learn more about other culture, about the diversity that we have. I'm so sorry, the throat is just okay. All right, dry throat situation. All right, I mentioned just now about the collaborative work that you can do with others. I am actually participating in COIL. COIL is the collaborative international online learning hosted by Shenandoah University. And this semester, we are undergoing trainings. About 5 lecturers from IIUM are participating in this from different kuliahs. So I got a chance to participate, and then I got a partner from Shenandoah University. So we have planned and we have chosen the topic on culture and sustainability. Professor Andrew teaches introduction to production, and I teach a sustainable development for my UNGS class. So we try to combine the class and using culture as a medium where the students can work on together to promote, to preserve. So I just want to share with you, I hope that this one can give you a clearer idea of how collaborating with people from other universities in the world, because the invention of Zoom, or Meet, you can actually have classes with people from different countries, just that the time zone is different. I'm just going to share with you. Hopefully this will be something interesting for all of us to try, not just for English class, but also for Arabic, for Bahasa Melayu classes. All right, so I'm sharing with you this one.
COIL class.
COIL is collaborative online international learning that allows students from diverse cultural backgrounds to work together.
We hope the collaboration will foster meaningful understanding of others' culture and encourage students to develop an appreciation for diversity and for sustainability.
We also want to provide the students the platform to share their heritage and cultural information, which will benefit not only themselves but the generations to come.
The focus of our class is culture and sustainability. We want students to explore aspects of culture that you want to protect, promote, and to share your heritage with others in a creative way.
The collaboration between IIUM and SU students should produce 2-minute YouTube video from each group.
4. Definitely.
WhatsApp,
Email,
FaceTime,
Gmeet,
Zoom, anything,
Or
guys.
Intangible.
Yeah, anything.
So right now we have a 12-hour time difference. So if you think about if it's 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, it's 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening. But luckily at this point in the semester, it's a 12-hour time difference. So it's pretty easy to calculate. What, we don't want to call each other at 3 o'clock in the morning? Let's hit it.
And let's have lots of fun. Okay, so that was one of the activities, example of collaboration work that you can do to promote culture, because personally in our country we have so much to offer, we have so much to share, and we can use culture as part of our teaching and learning. Now we discuss sustainable development. We should not, when we discuss, I wanted to type, when we discuss sustainable development, we should not exclude the role of cultural diversity, because of course, culture brings to the society fundamental qualities that are just as important as environmental, social, and economic development. This is very important because without it, we are nobody, right? And then culture bridges the different groups. I just want to reiterate that. I think different groups of people and promotes peace. It promotes peace, and then culture contributes to economic growth through creative industries, which I did not touch today, but this is one of the aspects that we can look at, how we can use creative industries through culture to contribute to economic growth in the country. So that can be, maybe we're not going to do that in the language class, but it can give ideas, inspire students to do it. So that's it, actually, my presentation today. I hope that I have questions here, Dr. Unku.
Thank you, Dr. Bai. You already have a remark from Brother Ashari on Zoom there.
So I'm just going to read it. IUM, as an international university, is steadfast at producing graduates who have global mindset in terms of academic. Should IUM realign all academic courses to be cultural? Realigning it in a way, it's not, I mean, it is something that you don't have to make like all three of you guys are there. I'm so sorry. This is such a fun webinar, Dr. Unku.
Thank you. I'm happy that you think so.
Okay, you guys, okay, I know they are in the other room actually. Anyway,
all right.
I'm gonna get you guys later, yeah? Okay, for shocking me like that. All right. What we can do is just the trainings. I think we started actually in 2018. We offered this course program, the course on CRT for the teachers, for the lecturers here to attend the workshop. I did that workshop in Gombak once and in Kuantan once, in which we give the trainings on how teachers can be more culturally responsive towards the students. It's not something that you have to make changes in the already course outline that you have, right? It's just something that the approach that you use in teaching and learning. So it's an approach, if you are aware of what it is, that you become more responsive culturally towards your students, and at the same time you can actually expand that to projects, as I mentioned just now, to make it bigger. It's not something that you have to revamp, like as I said, the whole curriculum. It's just an approach that you can always adopt, and then you can make changes in the student's life and also your life, because as I said, it started from the level class, from level 5 students class, which got me interested to learn more about it. And this how the PhD journey started. And now I am exploring more on culture and sustainability. I don't know where it will take me after this, but I hope that it will take me to travel the world to learn more about people, instead of just staying here and hope people to feed me with the information, about the cultural information. But I just want to go there. That's why I made a point now, if I travel overseas, I would go to the galleries, I would go to the cultural villages, so I can learn more about the culture. And I would prefer to stay in the country, in a place like the locals, instead of a tourist. So I would try to do that. This is something that we all have changed the mindset, that you go travel is not to just go and buy Hard Rock Cafe mugs, but to go buy the cultural artifacts or look at the cultural artifacts that they have. There's a change in life, that you evolve, right? You evolve, everyone evolves. The COVID-19 virus evolved, and so we evolve just like that.
Very interesting indeed, Dr. Bai. I just have a remark. I think I'll start the ball rolling here, Dr. Bai. I think if you're talking about culture and sustainability and development of a country, I'm immediately reminded of Japan. Yeah, you see how they have preserved their culture, and they are such an advanced country, and it's integrated in all aspects of their lives. Yeah, when my children were little, we brought them to Japan for the first time, and I think my son was intrigued by how advanced the country was then and is now. But they also have elements of their culture that's still very much part of their lives. Yeah, and which brings me to another remark. I think I wonder if you disagree with me, or would you agree with me? I think it all starts with you being proud of your culture.
Yes.
Yeah. My question is: are we as Malaysians proud of our culture? And so, if
I'm not so sure whether younger generations know what marinding is anymore.
Yes.
Yeah, I used to do that in school, but I don't know now whether schools are still practicing that, teaching children to dance that, so they would know how to dance. Now people, we have better access to how to learn dances. Like during the pandemic, I joined this dance class online, in which we have to submit our assignment, you record your dances. I learned how to dance this, I forgot the name, it's from Perlis, it's quite interesting, I don't remember the dance name, but it's really interesting. I submitted and then I got a certificate from that dance school. So this is something that I try to encourage my children also to join. And I could see that now during the class that we have students from different countries and all ages. I was like the oldest one. So this younger generations were Chinese and Indians, not Malays. So you see that these schools are actually making it compulsory for the students to gain certificates from schools like this to learn new skills, which is traditional skills. So it's very interesting. If we can have the same thing in IIUM, probably that international students, we can have a certificate like that for them to, how to do the zapin, how to do marinding, and how to do other dances that we have. We should be proud, as you say, we should be proud of our own tradition, which we should promote to the others.
Yeah.
I have a question, Dr. Tunku.
From,
Chat.
is it from YouTube?
Narmi,
Okay.
internet culture. What is my take on internet culture and its relation to sustainability?
That has caught you off guard, huh?
I think I have answered this just now because the role of traditional culture has been eroded because of the internet culture. Is the internet culture in which I think we have to look at how it can actually, not to say be reduced, because everyone relies on the internet now. You remember the 2 years we rely heavily on the internet to function
Yeah,
as
for
human
everybody.
beings,
Yes.
as teachers, as mothers, because we order from Grab and Foodpanda, right?
Yes, definitely.
Mothers and wives. And then we rely on the internet to teach, to work. People were working from home and they use the internet, unify, whatever. So the internet culture is something that we need to highlight, in which the ethics of using the internet, that is part of culture lah. Like, when you enter Zoom, for example, you have to make sure that you are muted. You don't want people to hear your children screaming in the background, right? Or when you, as Andrew, my partner, said just now, if you work with people from other country time zone, you have to take care of that. You have to really look at what time of the day that you want to call people, right? So, or to discuss your project. So this is the thing. So I don't know. I think in Salpat, I think we can start something like COIL, in my opinion. Like maybe it's not with the native, maybe with a native speaking countries, in which, because we don't have any more English teachers from the native countries, right? Native speakers of English. So probably we can have, if not like the whole semester, like 4 times of the semester, just to expose our students to into native speakers. So I just saw from the activity that I did with COIL projects, it's just that something that I could see what can be done in Salpat. So this is to promote culture also and sustainability, of course.
Definitely very interesting. Do we have any more questions from, let me see, we don't have any more questions on YouTube. Okay, and we don't have any more questions on Zoom. Okay. Ashari says, thank you, Dr. Bai, good sharing. My question, again, what do you think about Islamic culture as opposed to all the various cultures that we have? Yeah, culture based on what from Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Do you think how should we promote that on top of all the various cultures that we have based on our regions?
Okay, to respond to this, I would go to something that is universal. Islam, Buddhism, Christianity all promotes peace, right? And Islam is the religion of peace, and that is actually what are the activities that we carry out to promote peace. So and then also mushawara, where we collaborate with people, like gotong royong, for example, is a culture.
Yes.
That is actually dying.
Yeah.
If I can say, because people can actually just pay people to clean the housing area, like, right? So this is something that maybe it is part of working together as a ummah, cleaning our environment, because one thing that we noticed during the pandemic, everything was clean. The parks was clean, the houses was clean, the areas was clean, because we're so afraid of the virus that we clean everything, even the food packages we clean. Now, once we have entered the endemic phase, as Muslims, we are forgetting cleanliness. This is an example of one of the aspects of Islam, right? Cleanliness and peace. And you go to campsites, you see people throwing rubbishes. So it's something that you cannot do. And this is the culture of throwing rubbish from the car. That has to be changed. Yeah, that has to be changed. If you have to viral those people who throw rubbish from the car window, then you do it. That I don't care. I don't mind. But these are the things that we need to actually look at. Islam promote peace, promote cleanliness. This is the basic. If we can't do that, we can't start that. This one, Tan Sri Zul has always talked about cleanliness. If we can't pick rubbish from the ground in IUM, we can't call some Muslims if we're not keeping it clean. Yeah, so cleanliness is one and peace is one, and all religion promote peace. So it's not just about Islam, it's also about other religion, about people in the global world.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, I don't see any further questions on YouTube, and neither do I see questions on Zoom. I think that's about all for now, Siti Zubaida. Thank you very much for that very interesting exposure. It's something that I have not thought about a lot, but like you said, it's something that we do in the classroom, isn't it? But
yes.
But we don't actually think about it consciously when we do it.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for highlighting that to us. I'm sure you'll get a lot more questions. I think they can
email me.
Yes, can you
and
read
they know my WhatsApp number?
Can you read your email address?
It's as Zubaida. I just type it here as Zubaida at IIUM.
Okay, as Zubaida at iium.edu.my. Yeah. As Zubaida is one word. Yeah. So
Correct.
Thank you very much. Jazakillahu khairan kathira, Dr. Siti Zubaida, despite your busy, very, very busy schedule, for accepting our invitation. We look forward to talking to you again, inshallah. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We end our session with the recitation of Surah Al-As and Tasbih Kafarah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Ngku.
Thank you, bye.
You can stop the recording from live stream.
I'm not sure. Just a minute, yeah. No.
All right, hold on.
I'll just keep smiling. Thank you, Faz.
Thank you, everyone. I think the rest can leave already. I'll handle the makeup part. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hasno.
Just want to take one picture from this.
Ambil screen capture lah.
Screen capture. Dr. Ngku. No.
I cannot.
You unpin me, please.
Oh, unpin
you. Sorry.
Cik No, kita ambil gambar 3.
Tak apa. Go ahead. Hold on, I need to contact Raja Munir.
Okay, let me look at the gallery. Hi, Book, you still here? Okay, 1, 2, 3. This is for my Instagram.
Okay. Masuk Instagram tu.
Oh,
nampak pun your view is lain ya. What is your view ya?
I open view gallery.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you so much. Bye.
Okay, thank you so much.
Very interesting.
All right. I'm glad you find it very interesting.
I cannot imagine you buat PhD buat benda macam tu.
I buat PhD on CRT, tak masuk sustainability. So
tapi culture lah kan?
Yeah, culture. But I went to Sabah and Sarawak to collect data actually.
Oh wow, you buat qualitative ya?
Qualitative, yes.
Oh God.
A lot of interpretation of words,
Yeah.
I did it with together with Arwah Rosiana. So this thing is very dear to me because of that. Yeah.
MashaAllah. Okay.
Every time I talk about this, I would remember her. So.
Yeah. Oh, she was doing her PhD as well then.
Yeah, she was doing her topic. I was doing my topic, but we were working together on our topic. That we stayed up late here in the office and sometimes slept here, so just to finish it, to work on it.
MashaAllah.
Okay, Dr. Engku.
Okay, thank you so much. Bye.
I tak buat attendance lagi sekejap. Nak kena cari
I pun
balik.
tak buat attendance. Ya Allah.
Jom buat attendance.
I
Okay
selalu
then.
tak buat attendance. Kejap.
Alright, Dr. Engku.
I lupa.
Assalamualaikum. Terima kasih semua.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you.